Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the channel. We have some breaking news. An amazing lightweight matchup was just announced for UFC 280, Beneil Dariush versus Mateusz Gamrot. And I wanted to make a video giving my early thoughts as well as an early prediction for this amazing lightweight matchup. So first off, this is the perfect fight for the division right now. You have number 6 ranked Beneil Dariush versus number 9 Mateusz Gamrot. This makes perfect sense, and this is a very compelling fight for multiple reasons. Both for skill. I mean, this is two of the best 155ers in the world. You know, it just makes perfect sense, and this is going to be a very competitive fight. And this is actually a tough fight to pick. And then on top of that, I believe this fight has title implications. The winner of this fight may very well be the number 1 contender in the division. And conveniently enough, at 155 pounds, the main event, the title fight on this card, is Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev. So if Beneil Dariush or Mateusz Gamrot goes out there and makes a statement at UFC 280, it's on the card with the champion of their division. So it's just going to make a lot of sense, to match those two up. And if Charles Oliveira is able to defeat Islam Makhachev, this fight, as a number 1 contender fight makes perfect sense because Oliveira would have defeated Islam. He will have defeated Chandler. He will have defeated Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje. So it only makes sense. The only other name you could throw in the hat would be Rafael Fiziev at that point. It would be between Rafael Fiziev and the winner of this fight, who then, honestly, they could match up and they could fight for the number 1 contender spot as well. But Beneil Dariush was originally supposed to be in kind of a number 1 contender fight earlier this year against Islam Makhachev. Unfortunately, he got injured. He had to pull out of the fight, and we never got to see it because that was the fight, to decide who fought Charles Oliveira next. Unfortunately, Beneil got injured, and we didn't get to see that fight. And now Makhachev is now fighting for a title. But now he gets another opportunity. And Beneil Dariush, I know a lot of people think he's older. He's only 33 years old. So he's arguably in the prime of his career. I know I've seen some pictures. He looks about 75 years old, but I guess that's just the gray hair coming in on him. So he's in the prime of his career. Mateusz Gamrot, he hasn't been in the UFC for that long, but he's arguably in the prime of his career as well. He's 31 years old. And both guys are on long winning streaks. Mateusz Gamrot could arguably be undefeated. He made his UFC debut against Guram Kutateladze, and I think Mateusz Gamrot clearly won that fight. Even Kutateladze thought he won that fight. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, he did not get the decision. So right now, he should be sitting undefeated. And then you have Beneil Dariush. He hasn't lost for a long time himself. He's on a long winning streak. The last time he lost was in 2018. So it's been 4 years since Beneil Dariush lost. He's sitting at number 6 in the rankings. Mateusz Gamrot is sitting at number 9 in the rankings. And I cannot wait to see this matchup. And I know you look at Gamrot's last fight. He fought Arman Tsarukyan, not that long ago on June 25th of this year. And I personally thought Tsarukyan won this fight. And, it is what it is. Mateusz Gamrot got the decision, but it was a very close competitive fight. Even though I thought Tsarukyan won the fight, it was still a close fight. And they showed they both are some of the top 155ers. And the 155-pound division is stacked. You have so many killers making their way up the ranks. You have, Damir Ismagulov. You have Jalen Turner. You have Tsarukyan. You have Gregor Gillespie, who is not necessarily young, and he's not in the rankings anymore. But he's a guy that a lot of people think can potentially eventually be a title contender if he ever fights. And you have a lot of older guys who are kind of on their way out. Tony Ferguson, Conor McGregor. I'm not saying necessarily they're super old, but they've been around in the UFC for a while, kind of on skids and maybe on their way out. So the lightweight division is kind of having its turnover. And Gamrot versus Beneil Dariush should be an amazing fight. I mean, you look at their skills. Mateusz Gamrot is a very good grappler, very good submission artist. His striking is ever improving. I think, it needs some work. But Beneil Dariush is kind of the same way. He's a very good grappler, good submission guy, and also has some decent stand-up. As far as, how I think they compare to each other, I think, Gamrot is probably a little bit better grappler, has a little bit better takedowns. But I think Beneil Dariush probably has the edge in the striking. Gamrot's striking still, looks like it needs some work. It didn't look that great against Tsarukyan. But still, it's not bad by any means. And I really think this fight is going to be one of those fights where the grappling cancels each other out and we kind of see a striking battle. And we're going to have to see, who's the better striker in this fight. And it could end up like Gamrot versus Tsarukyan. There was a lot of crazy scrambles in that fight. but nobody ever really cemented a position with the grappling or had any dominance with the grappling. And I think that could be the case with Beneil Dariush versus Mateusz Gamrot. I think these guys could try to take each other down. They might like have a, some brief success, but I think the person on the bottom is going to scramble out immediately and get back to their feet. And I think it's going to be majority contested on the feet. As far as an early prediction for this fight, this is a fight that is very hard to pick. I would probably lean Beneil Dariush. Honestly, I think Beneil Dariush is just a little bit better on the feet, but Gamrot's improving every single fight. So Gamrot could come out and surprise us, and I don't think the margin is that crazy that Gamrot couldn't close the gap on him. And I think this is going to be a very compelling fight. It makes perfect sense in the lightweight division. And the winner's going to have to try to beat Charles Oliveira or Islam Makhachev. So, I mean, can you imagine? There's so many compelling matchups that can come out of this. Imagine Islam Makhachev versus Mateusz Gamrot. I think that's a very compelling fight. Both are very good grapplers, elite level grapplers. That might be a fight that is contested on the feet. Charles Oliveira versus Mateusz Gamrot, very interesting as well, because you have Gamrot who wants to take you down and control you on the ground. Charles Oliveira, it's already a super compelling matchup against Islam Makhachev because it's the same way, but Charles Oliveira, super elite with his submission and his BJJ skills. And the same thing for Beneil Dariush. Charles Oliveira and Beneil Dariush were supposed to fight a while ago. I don't remember exactly when that was, but that could be a very interesting fight as well because Dariush is very good at taking guys down and controlling them. And in the same, case, Charles Oliveira could easily submit Dariush, but Dariush has very good BJJ as well. And then, of course, you could have Islam Makhachev versus Beneil Dariush. The matchups are endless. I mean, this is an amazing fight card at UFC 280. So right now, you have Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev for the lightweight title. You have Aljamain Sterling versus TJ Dillashaw for the bantamweight title. You have Bilal Muhammad versus Sean Brady. I mean, that's an amazing welterweight fight. Then you have Sean O'Malley versus Piotr Yan, and now you throw Beneil Dariush versus Mateusz Gamrot. What is going on here? My head might explode. This is one of the most amazing fight cards on paper I have ever seen. I'm actually thinking about making a dedicated video just talking about the entire card. Let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in down in the comments. Let me know who you guys think is going to win this fight. I think this is a very tough fight to pick between Beneil Dariush and Mateusz Gamrot. Let me know in the comments. And also, don't forget to like the video, and thank you so much for watching.